Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to take a look at the Entity Alloy Shock Pump SP15. So when you buy a dual suspension, it's pretty smart to go ahead and buy yourself a shock pump, because without it you're not going to be able to really set your sag, set your suspension up so that you can have an enjoyable ride. So today I want to talk about the Entity brand that I bought from Bikes Online. I bought it at the same time I bought my mountain bike, my Polygon Siskiyou T6, and there was a little bit of a learning curve, but it's pretty simple. And so as a newbie, all of this stuff has a little bit of a learning curve. So there's not much to it. There's 5 steps. There's a lower dial, a top knob, and a bleed button. So there's not much to this. So really 3 moving parts that you need to be concerned about. And really the bleed button is only if you put too much air in it, you want to let a little bit out. So pretty simple. It goes up to 200 and something pounds, I think. So I got the analog version of the pump. It was like $25 at the time of my purchase. So pretty cheap, pretty inexpensive. Little alloy or aluminum frame here, plastic housing, but it's got a little bit of rubberized coating on it in case you drop it and when you're in the outdoor woods. Here's your bleed button right here, analog gauge, hose. You'll see, obviously this is what you're going to screw onto your pump, on your shock or your fork. Here is the lower dial, the silver gnarled part right here, and then you have a red button, a red knob on top. They call it the top knob. You see that is out, it's screwed out. That's important before you put it on there. So screw that out. That's one thing the instructions really don't make real clear. Make sure that's screwed out pretty far before you attach it to your shock or your fork. Here is the handle. It folds, it comes out, and then you'll hear it locks into place. This is plastic. Little piece of steel hinge right here, and pretty simple. Stroke is pretty short. No big deal there. Easy to store away. Pretty simple. Not much to it, which I like. So let's go over to my Polygon Siskiyou T6 and let's take a look at how this works with your fork or your shock. So we'll take a look at my shock first, and we'll simply take off the cap to my shock. Make sure that red knob is out right there. The red is out. If it's in, you're going to have a lot of air escape. That's the big deal about that. So coarse threads on this, so that makes it easy to get on and off and decreases the chance of your cross-threading this on the way in. So hopefully you can see if there's not a whole lot of glare. It's on 0, and as I screw this top knob in, you'll see the air pressure come up. There it goes. Okay, so I'm going to screw that all the way in. Looks like we're at about 170-ish, 180 pounds, which is about where I want it. I'm going to put a little bit more air in there. When you get up into these higher PSIs, it's a little bit harder to pump. And so I've got it to about 190-ish or so right there. I'm going to hit this bleed button just so you can see that. Like, that was very short, and I lost about 10 pounds, 15 pounds of pressure. So if I want 180 pounds in this thing, I put a little bit over that, because as I take this off, you'll hear a little bit of air release. So I want to take that into account when I'm putting this in. I don't unscrew this red top button all the way out, because you'll hear the air release there as well. I don't know if it really makes a difference if it's air releases in or when this lower dial comes off, but you probably heard a little bit of air escape as that comes off. So no big deal, build that into it. Some of that is just the air in the tube and the pump. I've done this enough times to know that it does release a little bit of air. All right, same thing on the fork. If you come over here, you do the exact same process. on your fork, screw it on, make sure the red knob top cap is out. You'll screw it in, you'll put the appropriate amount of air in. And like I said, I'll overinflate it just a little bit, just to ensure that as that air bleeds out, as I take it off, I don't lose, I don't go too low. So that's it, really simple. And as a new guy to the sport, using a shock pump is something new to me. So thought I'd share my experience with you. Really simple. I kind of enjoy it, kind of nerd out a little bit with these settings on the shock and the fork, because it's just a little bit of tweaking to make it just right. So thanks for watching the video. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm a new channel, trying to get up and running. I really appreciate your help with that. And thanks for watching. I'll see you on the trail.